A little nugget for you guys today. Being a feminine woman does not mean that you lose your independence. It does not mean that you become a fucking doormat. It does not mean that you are always just passive in every single moment and never speak your truth. In fact, through your journey of becoming more feminine and of really, finding that part of you again and softening into her, it is essential that you keep your independence. This also ties into like not being codependent on other people, not being dependent on other people to regulate your nervous system, because that doesn't create a deep sense of safety. So just because we're surrendering to men, just because we're letting go to their lead and we're softening into them and that feels so good, that doesn't mean that we're not also independent people. Like if you fuck with me, you fucked with me, buddy, right? Like you want to have that energy. You're not surrendering to him because you're dependent on him. You're surrendering to him because you're choosing to. And at any time, you could also choose not to. It's thinking about like your surrender to him is a privilege for him. It's a privilege. And if he hasn't earned, if he hasn't earned that, if he doesn't appreciate that, don't feel like you just have to give it to him. So if you're surrendering, but you're not keeping your independence, what that will mean then is that when you surrender and you don't feel like it's received, accepted, appreciated, you'll then start to lose yourself. When people say she's lost herself in X relationship or she's losing herself, that is about her losing like her independent sense of self. It doesn't mean that you have to wear your independence as a badge of honor and I'm an independent woman. It means that you need to feel like you have like separation from everything else, that you have a soul, like you have like one version of you that is independent from your partner. It's independent from work. It's independent from those other things. And what that means is that you then don't lose your independence. You're not then relying on your partner all the time or on whoever it is to do everything for you, to regulate, you all the time, to make you feel safe all the time. And it's also remembering then it helps you to remember that like because you are an independent woman, like you are an independent woman, if you're not being appreciated, if your needs aren't getting met after you have properly asked time after time after time, if your desires aren't getting met, if you feel like you are not being seen in the relationship, your independence then allows you to take action on those things, to do something about them. Whereas if you just become like passive, like a doormat, and you lose yourself, then when you aren't getting your needs met, when you aren't getting your desires met, when you aren't happy in the relationship, you're not saying anything because you have gone into this very passive state where you've lost yourself. So you don't even know that your needs aren't getting met. You don't even know that you're not happy in the relationship. So really remember, like we are not passive women when we like passive in a bad way. We're not passive women when we are choosing to surrender to him, because that's the key word, choosing. We're choosing to let go. We're choosing to be submissive. We're choosing to let him lead. And that comes with the empoweredness underneath it, that foundation, the empoweredness of knowing that we are independent. We are okay without him. We are okay alone. That is what creates the sensation of being empoweredly submissive, like my program name, empoweredly submissive. What it means to be empoweredly submissive, if you haven't listened to that episode, you can, is that you are empowered in your choice of being submissive, in your choice of letting go, in your choice of letting him lead. That empowered feeling comes from your confidence, your backbone, your independence, your sense of self, you knowing your needs, your wants, your desires, etc. So you aren't going into this state of like letting go to him with no backbone. Oh, you've got a backbone, baby. And so if he then doesn't appreciate you, love you, choose you, make you feel wanted, and I'm not saying like, on a Friday when he's tired, I'm saying this is like a repetitive thing that's been going on, and you've brought it up to him multiple times in a proper way. If you don't know how to bring these things up to him, or if you don't know how to like communicate to a man, make sure that you do be a lover, not a mother. or maybe starting with my embodiment dating masterclass, or just send us an email with what's going on and we can recommend you to the best things, because there's other programs as well that could be better for you. But if you've actually communicated with him properly and things still aren't getting solved, or things, maybe the solution isn't there, but you don't even feel like there's progress, or there is even like, you know, him seeing what you're asking. You don't even feel like he's understood you or taken time to hear you, then I hope that you step into your independence and realize that he doesn't just get your feminine energy and your softness and your surrender and your submission just because. No, he has to earn that. He has to earn our open heart. He has to show us that he is trustworthy for us to open our heart, for us to let go. That's why when they stop leading, we shut down. We then go into the leading one, because it's like, well, you're not providing the space for me to let go. Yes, it's a two-way street, but men, it is very important for you to make her feel like it's actually safe to let go. And if you do not create that safety, then she will not be able to let go. She obviously needs to, not make sure that she's not then, shutting you down for stepping into your masculinity. That's why I'm saying two-way street, but really making sure that you're also taking responsibility for these things. But the bottom line is that you get to choose. That is what your independence allows. He has his independence too. He's choosing. So don't forget that you also get to choose. And we're human. We go through seasons. There are seasons where things are amazing and then things are a little bit less amazing. And that doesn't mean that you just up and dip. That's not what I'm saying at all. Or that you just become like a right royal bitch and think that, you're the only person that matters in the relationship, and it's, only your needs gets to get heard and it doesn't matter about his needs. But it is remembering that, like, you're allowed to ask for a conversation. You're allowed to draw a line in the sand. You don't need to be begging like a puppy for him to pick up his act and for him to step up and shape up and pull his socks up. You don't need to be begging like a fucking puppy. You need to be commanding respect like a woman. You need to be showing up in this powerful way where essentially your energy is like, meet me here, or we're going to have a problem. Like, do you want to rise to meet me? Do you want to rise to communicate, to solve this, or not? That's the difference. Okay. So please, ladies, you're not losing your independence by becoming feminine. That is absolutely not. The two can very much coexist at the same time. And your independence, you knowing you have that, really brings that safety to then be empoweredly submissive.